Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning. As I was preparing for this celebratory occasion, I reflected on Brown's alma mater hymn, a song that as graduate students you probably never heard or even cared to learn. However, I believe it embodies the essence of our celebration today. It states, "The happiest moments of youth, fleeting hours, we passed 'neath the shade of these time-honored walls. And sorrows as transient as April's brief showers have clouded in our life in Brunonius halls." Will you pray with me? Most gracious, omnipresent, all-powerful Creator, we thank you for these candidates and their journeys in pursuing a Ph.D. These individuals embarked on a roller coaster of a ride with highs and lows and dips and turns, yet they've managed to endure to the end, and for that we say thank you. Some ventured to this place right after undergrad, while others came after working in their professions for years. Regardless of when they came to Brown, they all came with one goal in mind. We are thankful that they chose us to be forever embedded in their hearts and etched in their professional journeys. We have been blessed by their presence. We thank you for these halls of Brown University and the spaces where information was exchanged and research was cultivated. Whether they spent the majority of their times in labs conducting experiments, immersed themselves in unfamiliar environments by conducting ethnographic research in particular communities, or if they spent the majority of nights raising their glasses in the GCB building community, we are thankful for all of their experiences, the happy times and even the bad times, because they have been made stronger and wiser. While we know this journey is momentous, we do know that some days in these time-honored walls have been fields of sorrow, including failed research experiments, food instability, depression, and even the loss of loved ones. Nevertheless, they have persevered and made it to the finish line and have earned the title of doctor in front of their names. Encourage them during this season of transition. And when life deals them a hard blow, or when they are worried about attaining tenure in their intended professions, remind them that if they made it through these Brunonian halls as a PhD student, they can make it through anything. We thank you for the community of support that has wrapped their loving arms around them during this season. We ask a special blessing upon the families, friends, professors, and staff who have sojourned in this race with our candidates. We lift our gratitude for the culmination of their journey. It is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. It is really a beautiful day. I know a lot of you were worried about the weather, but it's a beautiful day for graduation. Good morning and welcome. My name is Andrew Campbell. I'm Dean of the Graduate School, and it's my pleasure to preside over this ceremony as we confer doctoral degrees for Brown University. I'd like to begin by saluting the candidates, ascendant. This means planned. Please stand. You'll hear this word later in the ceremony. Today, we recognize your dedication and your achievements. I welcome the parents, spouses, partners, and children of our graduating students. Will you also please stand? And finally, I want to recognize your faculty advisors and mentors. Will the faculty please stand? We are delighted to have you all with us. Everyone, please be seated. So this is an exciting day for our graduates and their families. To make it go more smoothly for all, I ask that you silence your cell phones now, please. This ceremony is simulcast on the Brown website, and the order of the program is available on the Commencement website and in the guidebook application. Now, regarding photographs, we all know you're interested in capturing those golden moments. Please know that professional photographers are here to capture the moment when each graduate receives a diploma and hooding. As a courtesy to others, we ask you to stay in your seats and take your own photographs just outside of the tent. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the platform party. On your far left is Christopher Beatty, Associate University Registrar, who will assist in conferring diplomas. Next is Associate University Chaplain Jermaine Pearson. And Associate Dean Elizabeth Harrington of the Division of Biology and Medicine. Next is Marlena Duncan, Associate Dean of Diversity Initiatives and Assistant Vice President for Academic Diversity, who, with Dean Harrington, will hood the recipients. Beside her is Vanessa Ryan, Co-Deputy Dean and Associate Dean of Student Development. Sharona E. Gordon, who received her Ph.D. from Brown University in 1994, is this year's Horace Mann Medal recipient. Dr. Gordon is Professor of Physiology and Biophysics at the University of Washington. Thomas A. Lewis, Co-Deputy Dean and Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at the Graduate School, is next. Together, he and Dean Ryan will present the dissertation awards. We are delighted to have Maria T. Zuber with us today. She is a member of the Board of Fellows and received her doctoral degree at Brown in 1986. Dr. Zuber will confer degrees on behalf of the university. Now, it's my honor to introduce our student speaker, Jen Thum. Jen was chosen by the Graduate Student Council to address today's graduates. She will today receive a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Archaeology in the Ancient World. Jen received her bachelor's degree in Anthropology from Barnard College and a master's in philosophy and Egyptology from Oxford University. Jen was a Research Matters speaker and has brought her research to the public in various ways while at Brown, including through an exhibition at the Heffenreffer Museum, an e-newsletter about her fieldwork called The Interactive Dissertation, and teaching with the Think Like an Archaeologist program in Providence Public Schools. She is now the Inga Marin Otto, Curatorial Fellow in Academic and Public Programs at Harvard Arts Museum. Her address is entitled, Tell Me More.
You have to lower the mic for me. All right. I've really been looking forward to saying these 2 words. Hello, doctors. Let's do it one more time, like bigger and better. Ready? Hello, doctors. Congratulations on your hard-earned achievements and on getting to wear these very funny clothes. Now, I know many of you have worn academic dress before because as degree earning goes, you are a pro. But some of this is probably new to you, as it was to me. So according to the Intercollegiate Registry of Academic Costume, this is a tam. It is not simply a hat. Tams are based on the 16th century Tudor bonnet. At Brown, the tam is only worn for the highest of degrees. And although you may have worn a tassel before, the gold tassel is reserved only for those entitled to wear the doctoral gown. All of our hoods are blue because blue is the color traditionally assigned to philosophy, and you are, after all, becoming a doctor of philosophy. So I just did what grad students do best. Learn something new, and then explain it to someone else. And this is a theme that I'll return to shortly. For some of you, this is the first of many times that you'll wear the quirky costume of a doctor. For others, it will be the only time. Both of these are momentous occasions. Class of 2019, you have done a lot to earn the right to wear these clothes. So give yourselves a round of applause. You documented the emerging queer subculture in India, investigated the effects of climate change in tropical forests, explored the role of performance in learning foreign languages, and evaluated the hydrology of a young planet Mars. That is amazing. And I know that there are so many other more incredible projects that I don't yet know about. But let me ask you this. On the road to this moment, how many of your friends and family outside of the Brown bubble have asked you what it is that you've been doing these last 5 or 6 or 7 years? Today, many of them are sharing Brown with you for the very first time on the very last day of your time here. As you celebrate this achievement today with friends and family, have you considered just how you're going to communicate to them not only the value of what you've accomplished here, but also literally what you did all this time in Rhode Island? My Ph.D. is in archaeology, and I can tell you right now that I have a whole lot of relatives who think I've spent the last 6 years learning how to dig the perfect hole. If you can't articulate your Ph.D. project to your grandma, how will you explain its value to your neighbor, to your local community, to persistent strangers on the internet? Because you should want to do this. We all should. In our current moment, the ecosystem of higher education is in crisis, and I don't use that word lightly. An increase in skepticism of scholarly expertise, the spread of misinformation when the science clearly says otherwise, doubts about the value of academic work in the real world, and cutbacks in research funding. Whether you've decided to enter academia or have chosen another path, Transparency and dialogue about what we do as PhD holders is essential to making our work and the institutions in which we do it accessible. Will all that work you did here at Brown stay in your academic world or the career you've chosen to pursue? Or will it have legs? We got all dressed up this morning and processed through a monumental gate in a group led by a man in a top hat and a woman in a giant gold chain. To the outside world, this looks like a place of privilege. And it is. We've had that privilege. We know what universities often feel like for the local communities that surround them, like places apart from their own experience, places where the knowledge comes from, but not necessarily welcoming places, or places that engage with anyone outside the system. How do we change this? It starts with us not as scholars, but as publicly visible members of our communities. It's up to us to demystify higher ed, to redeem it from its crisis, and to make it truly impactful. In my second year here, I participated in a program called Think Like an Archaeologist. Students in my department spend part of a semester teaching sixth graders in Providence public schools. We're not trying to turn them all into little archaeologists. We're just there to teach them why it's important to study the past and also to teach them how to make maps. I hadn't been in a middle school since I was in middle school, but doing this was like my initiation into this city. That semester, I became a citizen of Providence. It made me realize that these kids are also part of my community. Just because they aren't on campus doesn't mean that I don't have a duty to them, in the same way that we all have a duty to each other. Many of our fellow PhDs have understood that we have a responsibility to folks outside of Brown and our disciplines, and they've found lots of creative ways to counteract the crisis. Do you know about Skype a Scientist? 500 women scientists? Or our very own homegrown career mentoring network founded by a team of Brown PhDs called Inventing Heron? One of our fellow PhDs goes on Reddit and serves as a resident expert in his field. Maybe that doesn't sound like the right venue for your energy, or maybe you don't know what Reddit is, in which case, consider yourself lucky. But what about one of our anthropologist colleagues who's lent his expertise in radio interviews for NPR? The dozens of graduate students who've done public talks for Research Matters, which anyone can access on YouTube. The students who've taught in the prison system. Or the neuroscientist who leads Nerd Night Rhode Island and creates cartoons to explain complex topics in her field. These efforts are one and the same. They reach different audiences, but they're a form of public practice and a means of both demystifying the PhD and making a tangible impact on those outside of the higher ed system. I recently faced my toughest audience yet, fourth graders. Far scarier than my committee, they were video chatting with me from their classroom in Pierce City, Missouri, and they had lots of questions that made me think. It was a chance for me to respond to their interests and to learn how my field is viewed and understood by others. Engaged scholarship is a dialogue, not a one-way street. Talk to people about what you did here. It was hard. You earned it. Academia produces progress, but also struggle and self-doubt. I challenge you not just to own your topic, but how you got here. Because we can't expect others to follow in our footsteps or to follow our logic if we don't humanize and demystify the PhD. Let's start here. Right now, you're probably sitting next to someone you don't know. and you're going to be sitting next to them for the next hour. So by the time you leave this tent today, I hope you'll have taken the opportunity to tell them a bit about your work in a way that someone outside of your field can understand. Consider this your first round of practice. As you walk around this afternoon in your tam and your hood and your gown, people are going to congratulate you, random people on the street, because you look the part. So I encourage you not just to say thank you and keep walking, but to stop for a minute and tell them what you did and how you got here, and why it matters to you, to your field, and to the rest of us. Do what grad students do best. You learn something new. Now, explain it to someone else. Congratulations again, class of 2019.
Okay, thank you, Jen. We now turn to the Joukowsky Family Foundation Dissertation Prizes. These prizes are named for the Joukowsky family, who have shown great generosity to the university. With these prizes, we recognize outstanding achievements in research by Ph.D. recipients in the humanities and the life, social, and physical sciences. Recipients of the award were nominated by their departments in final selections made by the Graduate Council, including faculty members and deans. It's my pleasure to introduce Dean Thomas A. Lewis and Dean Vanessa Ryan, who will confer the awards.
Thank you, Dean Campbell. I am honored to present these awards for outstanding scholarly achievement. I will draw from nomination letters and abstracts to describe the achievements of our recipients. The winner of the Joukowsky Dissertation Award in the Humanities is Rayhan Dormaz. Rayhan is receiving her Ph.D. in religious studies. Her research examines hagiography as a medium for Muslim-Christian exchange, considered through the formation of the Quran and its exegetical traditions, as well as through the cult of the saints. She looks at saint stories as transactional media, narratives that allow for and provide evidence for religious exchange, interaction, and transformation. Portions of her dissertation have been accepted for publication in 2 edited volumes on Syriac studies, entitled Syriac Christian Culture, From Beginnings to Renaissance, and Syriac Hagiography. Rayhan was a junior fellow in Byzantine Studies at the Dumbarton Oaks Research Collection and Library in Washington, D.C. this academic year, and she also holds a Charlotte Newcomb Dissertation Fellowship from the Woodrow Wilson Foundation. This coming fall, she will be joining the Department of Religious Studies at the University of Pennsylvania as an assistant professor of religious studies. Congratulations, Rayhan. The Joukowsky Dissertation Award in the Life Sciences is awarded to William Jordan III. William is receiving his Ph.D. in molecular biology, cell biology, and biochemistry. His research focuses on how the 3-dimensional structure of a chromosome influences gene activity. He examined the X chromosomes in fruit flies in his thesis, Drosophila dosage compensation, as a model for combinatorial transcriptional regulation. He defines for the first time how the shape of the X chromosome and its patterns of intrachromosomal contacts contributes to the systematic 2-fold increase in gene activity in male fruit flies. William hypothesized that a key regulatory protein controls the three-dimensional folding of the X chromosome in the nucleus of the cell. To test his hypothesis, he used a cutting-edge method to determine DNA-DNA contact points along each folded chromosome in normal cells, in contrast to cells lacking the regulatory protein. As a result, William has defined a new mechanism by which active genes are clustered in three-dimensional space to coordinate their regulation. During his time at Brown, William received a Howard Hughes Medical Institute Gilliam Fellowship and a National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. He's the first in his program to participate in Brown's Open Graduate Education Program, and he has earned a master's degree in data science and completed his Ph.D. within 5 years. I'm not done yet. A part of his dissertation is published in Trends in Genetics. Another chapter has recently been submitted for publication and is currently out for peer review. William will remain at Brown through this summer in Professor Erica Larshan's lab, completing research and preparing several manuscripts for publication. Congratulations, William. The Joukowsky Dissertation Award in the Physical Sciences goes to Evgenios Kornaropoulos, who is Evgenios is receiving his Ph.D. in computer science and has completed a dissertation entitled Information Leakage in Encrypted Systems Through an Algorithmic Lens. His research uses an algorithmic approach to develop rigorous attacks on encrypted databases. Specifically, his dissertation shows how to foil state-of-the-art attacks by using tools from computational geometry, learning theory, statistics, and optimization. These techniques achieve the first accurate reconstruction of the encrypted data under realistic assumptions, thus demonstrating that it is possible to breach these cryptographic designs. 2 of the 3 chapters of his dissertation have already been published in the flagship venue of computer security, IEEE Symposium on Security and Privacy, as well as in IEEE European Symposium on Security and Privacy. In addition to his dissertation, Evgenios has done other important research in privacy, including work at the intersection of machine learning and computer security, 2 fast-growing fields that are becoming increasingly intertwined, and an investigation of the security of data storage methods against forensic recovery attacks, with applications to the emerging field of electronic voting security. In September, Evgenios will start as a postdoctoral researcher at the University of California, Berkeley. Congratulations, Evgenios. The Joukowsky Dissertation Award in the Social Sciences goes to Florian Felix Guncilius. Florian is receiving his Ph.D. in economics. In his thesis, he resolves 2 central open questions in his field. First, he proved what is widely known as Pearl's conjecture, which hypothesized that it is impossible to test the validity of an instrument for causal inference in observational studies when the treatment of interest is contaminated and continuous. His second contribution is a partial identification result which derives sharp bounds on causal effects in controlled trials and observational studies with contaminated treatments. His dissertation is entitled essays in non-parametric econometrics. While at Brown, Florian was awarded the Chancellor Stephen Robert Fellowship, as well as a Teaching Award, Best Paper Prize, and the George Bortz Dissertation Prize from the Department of Economics. Currently, 2 parts of his thesis are in the revise and resubmit stage at top journals in the field of economics, and a 3rd part has been submitted. Florian has accepted a position as an assistant professor of economics at the University of Michigan, which he will join after completing a 1-year postdoctoral fellowship at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Congratulations, Florian. Thank you, Dean Campbell. It is a tremendous privilege to recognize these outstanding young scholars.
Thank you, Dean Lewis and Dean Ryan. And again, thank you to the Jakowski family who are represented by Jane Jakowski. Will you please stand and be acknowledged? Thank you so much. I add my own congratulations for your outstanding contributions to scholarships to all the award winners. We now turn to the Horace Mann Medal. This award was established in 2003 and is given annually to a Brown Graduate School alumnus or alumna who has made significant contributions in his or her field, inside or outside of academia. It is with great pleasure that I call this year's Horace Mann Award recipient, Sharona Gordon, to the podium to receive her honor. Dr. Gordon received her undergraduate degree from Brown University in 1990 in neurosciences. It's changed a bit. And her doctoral degree in 1994 in physiology. She is currently a professor of physiology and biophysics at the University of Washington. She's a leading figure in the development of molecular and cellular physiology and biophysics, and has published over 40 research articles focused on many different aspects of ion channel structure and function, including her current NIH-funded research on the mechanism of activation and regulation of ion channels involved in the sensation of pain. As an innovator, she has developed powerful multidisciplinary approaches using cell biology, molecular genetics, biochemistry, and electrophysiology. She has a long and impressive record of mentorship and has given back to her field in countless ways, including service on peer review panels for the NIH, work with the Faculty Senate, diversity and inclusion coordinator for her department, first woman editor-in-chief of the Journal of General Physiology, and as a founder of Hit the Ground Running, a professional development organization for postdoctoral scholars. She is further deeply committed to gender equity in the sciences and has courageously and thoughtfully addressed this issue in compelling editorials. In 2018, she founded Below the Waterline, an organization devoted to supporting targets of gender harassment in academia. Below the Waterline now works with people of all genders to understand how personal, collective, and institutional power can be leveraged to create an academic culture that respects and values individuals. Brown, we should be extraordinarily proud to be able to claim Dr. Gordon as an alumna of both its undergraduate and graduate programs. She exemplifies the best of what Brown has to offer the academic world. She's an outstanding scholar, a powerful role model, and a tireless contributor to the scientific community. Today, it is my distinct pleasure to acknowledge the contributions of Dr. Gordon with the 2019 Horace Mann Medal. Thank you, Dr. Gordon. Thank you. I now turn the podium over to Lauren Watts, who will today receive her doctoral degree in pathobiology. As a former chair of social events and student life of the Graduate Student Council, she will present this year's Wilson Dubois Award.
The recipient of the 2019 Wilson Dubois Award is Vanessa Ryan, the Co-Deputy Dean and Associate Dean of Student Development of the Graduate School. We are delighted to recognize Vanessa Ryan's unwavering support of and commitment to graduate students at Brown University. Vanessa has been an outstanding advocate for the professional and personal lives of graduate students. She has created and championed initiatives including Research Matters, Graduate Community Fellows, Open Graduate Education, Brown Wheaton Faculty Fellows, and many more. She has been instrumental in supporting graduate student parents and helping graduate students broadly manage difficult work-life balances. We cannot think of someone more deserving of this award for their work on behalf of doctoral students and the graduate school than Vanessa, and we are pleased to bestow this honor upon her.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We now turn to the conferral of degrees.
Soci honorandi, omnis quos ad gradum in philosophia, doctoris idionis, autopidis vobis, presentamus et eos ad hoc gradum promovere liceat rogamus. Candidate ad gradum in philosophia doctoris ascendent. Autoritate mihi commissa vos ad gratum in philosophia doctori admitto, omniace jura ac privilegia ad hoc gradum pertentuna vobis concedo, quare in testimonium haec diplomata vobis solemniter trado.
Please be seated. I now have the honor to present the recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy degree of Brown University. Jillian Bunger, +1. Rebecca Halbrecht. Bedur Saladin Allegra. Shamara Wiley Al-Hassan. Bethany Almeida. Alyssa Danielle Anderson. Shamil Asgarli. Amiri Ayana. When you buy. Alexander Barron. Saba Nur Baskoilu. Amaraya Danielle Beaker. Jordan Wayne Bell. Rebecca V. Bell Martin. Kenneth Mark Berger. Hazel Charlotte Bermudez Cabrera. Felicia Janine Bevel. Sarah Ann Brown. Charles Joseph Burnett. Haley Goodwin Boeing. David Bruce Burma. Sam Lawrence Caldas. Beth Capper. James P. Casanelli. Michelle Sass Castaneda. Harrison James Gordon Chalmers. Sung Tao Chen. Polomi Dar Chakrabarti. Tian Heng Chen. Wenji Chen. Benjamin Chilson Parks. Elizabeth Claire Kreitz. Andrew James Crotty IV. Francis R. Quee. Joseph George Zahner. Thomas Daniel Dickerson. Stephanie Ann Dodson. Emily R. Drennan. Rayhan Durmaz. Leah Dykstra. Jessica Ashley Emerson. Suzanne Christine Enzurink. Joe Fung. Valerie Federici. Thomas Martin Fisher. Sarah Fuchs Hyatt. Mark E. Fuller. Alexander George Galakatos. Christine Marie Gamble. Vaishali Gurga. Kimberly B. Glazer. Karen Elizabeth Godfrey. Haley Goodwill Boeing. Sarah Hall Gordon. Victoria Grass Andreu. Elizabeth Mary Gray. Felix Bastien Green. Shobo Guan. Claire Gulander Drolet. Florian Felix Gonzalius. Kaiguo. Shufeng Guo. Yu Lian Gu. John Charles Hakala. Jamie Nicole Hanson Lewis. Ian Harding. Akiko Hatakeyama. Amar Kamal Tufik Hatab. Emily Caroline Hollenbeck. Brian Andrew Christopher Horton. Talia Shoshana Hausman. Michael Anthony Jandron. Samantha Paige Jashonik. William Thomas Jordan III. Nicholas Jason Kaiser. Luther Scott Carper, Jr. June Kerr. Erin Elizabeth Kennedy. Amy Catherine Kerner. Joshua Ralph Kerrigan. Brian Michael Kilpatrick. Jinku Kim. Yuho Topias Korhonen. Si Young Kim. Yevgenios Konoropoulos. Rit Yunjay Kotari. William Nicholas Kring. Leslie Yushen Lai. Robert Wellington Lamb. Yin Hong Lan. Zoe Zane Langer. Harold Hanu Lee. Heather Young Ali. Junwen Lee. Kimberly June Lewis. June Ray Lee. Lynn Han Lee. Ching Louis. Jen-Louis. Yelena Luchkina. Rachel Lucienne Lupien. Margarita Machulette. Jerome F. Marston, Jr. Rosa I. Martinez Garcia. John Bird McDaniel IV. Rachel Hyatt Mead. John Leonard Meehan. Emilia Mickiewicz. Michael James Miller. Stephanie Ellen Miller. Luke Moldoff. Nicholas Alexander Mostovich. David J. Mulder. Priyanka Naka. Leah Nicole Nation. Christopher Riche Neal. Brianna Osetinsky. Alejandro Pando. Mohuk Patel. Ivano Petrovic. Stefano Poloni. Igor Polina. Kevin Brett Prue. Jeffrey Thomas Raisley. Christy Lynn Ryan. Jacob Alexi Robbins. Miguel Abel Rosas Buendia. Elizabeth Martha Rule. Daniel Jesse Rupel. Anna Santucci. Vikram Suraf. Mark T. Shaimoni. Anthony D. Scottina. Shashank Shukla. Thomas J. Silverman. Stylianos Siontas. Stephen Benjamin Sariski. Joseph Michael Skitka. David Andrew Sloboda. Itzhak Solomon. Alexandra Katerina Stefan. Robin Michelle Saint Laurent. Adrian Stoloff. Yun Sing Su. Tracy Amelia Claire Sampath Suter. Brian Anthony Sudermaster. Asha Tamarisa. Jareen Fan. Hok Chai Tan. Christopher William Tanner. Flora Carpenter Thompson DeVoe. Jennifer G. Thum. Leif Eric Toku. Jessica Tompkins. Timothy Howard Turnbull. Yashash Vaidya. Thomas McShay Valentin. Michiel Christian van Veldhuizen. Marcus Barrow Walton. Jennifer Fa-Chen Huang. Shinru Wang. Zili Wang. Lauren Michelle Watts. Ashley Elizabeth Weber. David Francis Whitney. Benjamin N. Wiener. Cadence Elizabeth Wilsey. Zachary Scott Wilson. Ella Getz Wold. Elizabeth K. Wolfson. Andrea Lee Wright. Guojian Wu. Ru Bing Xia. Leo Sun Jin Yan. Yi Ming Yang. Da Yu. Ziyang Yu. Valerie R. Zabala. Dongkun John. Chi Drang. Qian Fan Zan. Shulan John. Showei John. Shufan Zhang. Guoju Zheng. Minta Emily Gilbert Zlamke. Cyrus Arthur Peter Paul. Bo Shen. Guan Yao Zhu. Rizki Sarif. Yon Ho Chung. Darren Louis. And in a world of perfect symmetry, Junri Lee, +1. I wish to report that 225 students have completed their degree requirements and have permission to receive their degrees today. Will all doctoral degree candidates please rise?
Videte, igatur ut probe integrece, in emularium rei publicae et in Dei honorarum ut desit eos huc gratu honoramus vos juratus. Sedete, doctoris in philosophia. Congratulations on receiving your Doctor of Philosophy degree.
Congratulations to everyone. I'd like to thank Dr. Maria Zuber, my fellow deans, and the terrific staff of the Graduate School for help in making this such a successful event. As you go out into the world to serve, in the words of Brown's charter, with usefulness and reputation, in various roles as postdoctoral fellows, in government, the private sector, nonprofit organizations, and as faculty in colleges and universities around the world, I ask you to remain connected to Brown as loyal alumni. You are now and will remain an integral part of the university and its tradition. I now proclaim auctoritate mi commissa declaro ceremonia terminata. Congratulations. The doctoral ceremony will now conclude with a benediction in the alma mater. Afterwards, we ask that graduates, families, and guests to stay where they are until the platform party and faculty have left the tent. You may then head to the university ceremony, which begins at 1:15 on the main green. There are seats reserved for you there in section 5. Thank you. I invite Jermaine Pearson back to the podium.
Let's pray. God, we thank you for this institution, Brown University, and these new graduates who will leave an indelible impression on the world and the lives of others. Although this part of their journey is ending, we thank you for new beginnings and endeavors that await them. As we celebrate on the eve of Memorial Day, we ask a special blessing upon those families who've lost loved ones serving in the armed forces, and protect those who continue to serve and protect for our freedom. Be with us as we depart from this place, but not from your presence. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Alma Mater, we hail thee with loyal devotion, and bring to thine altar our offerings of praise. Our hearts swell within us with joyful emotion, as the name of old Brown in loud chorus we raise. The happiest moments of youth's fleeting hours we pass neath the shade of these time-honored halls, and sorrows as transient as April's brief showers have clouded our life in Brunonia's hall.